to be feared unless that thing is trying to eat you. Welcome to Night Vale. I would personally like to welcome you to this special recording of the show, as station management has allowed me to have a live studio audience. So, let me lay out some rules so this recording goes smoothly. First, recording devices are permitted. However, we ask that if you take a picture, please do not use flash. It can be distracting. Second, please set all electronics to silent. If you really have to take a call, please go outside. Third, mountains are not real. Do not convince me otherwise. Fourth, this is a fan-produced panel and we have no affiliation with Commonplace Books. Lastly, when we get to the question and answer portion of our recording, please wait in an orderly line by the microphone. Don't cut in line or anything like that. It's rude. Before we get to the news, however, I should mention my phone will be on. But that's only because I'm expecting a very important call.
From Carlos.
But first, the news. There have been reports that hooded figures have gained the power of transportation. Hooded figures have been sighted all across town, on the bus, in cars, on motorcycles, and walking up and down the sidewalks window shopping. We cannot tell how many have left the dog park, which only hooded figures inhabit, but they seem to be leisurely exiting and entering. Old woman Josie saw some hooded figures out in the desert performing some sort of ritual. They drew a picture of a creature unknown to humans, and the air around them began to glow a bright blue. She said she didn't know what this ritual was for, but right next to that group of hooded figures, there was a group playing Segway Polo, and that was super fun to watch. No one knows how they all suddenly learned how to travel about town, and no one knows where they will show up next. The city council released a message saying not to panic, and if one shows up, you are to not... All right. More on this as it happens.
Hey, Cecil, it's me. Hey now, I know you said no voicemails, but you picked up the phone, so it doesn't count.
Of course you would call only right now when I'm waiting for an important call, Steve Carlsberg.
Well, if you get that other call, it's okay to hang up. But I promise this is only going to be a really, really quick question, really.
The more you keep talking, the more I feel time speed up and slow down at the same time.
Okay, so Janice and I were wondering if you wanted to go see a movie this weekend. We were thinking about the one where something under the desert shifts and suddenly Night Vale is all full of crazy things like whole sports teams with colorful hair who are secretly giants that like to fight people, and Lee Marvin totally gets bit, and the doctors try to save him, but then they accidentally give him a spleen from one of those guys, so he becomes part colorful hair sports guy, but that gives him the power to mind meld with his regular person, totally not love interest, so that they are the only ones who can pilot the special international orange helicopter that can fly into the rift, and...
For that one.
Yeah, the preview. Janice and I, we were really excited watching the preview until it got to the part where some weird cat thing asks Lee Marvin's totally not girlfriend if she wants magical powers to help seal the rift. And Janice was all, Dad, maybe I don't want to see it if there's cats. And I was all, you know who's great with cats and who'll make that part of the movie okay after all? Your Uncle Cecil. Yeah. And Janice was all, okay, maybe if he comes, that part with the cats will be okay. And then I was all, I'm going to call him right now. So I did.
So you did. Listen, Steve,
I know, you're waiting for Carlos, right? And that's really important. But please, think about it, for Janice at least.
Sure, I'll let you know after that call.
Thanks, Cecil. You're the best. Talk to you later. Bye.
Now, let's go to cooking stuff with my friend Earl Harlan.
Thanks for having me on your show again. It's good to be back.
So, Earl, what are we making today?
Ice.
Ice cream?
No, just ice. We'll be making clear ice. This recipe requires water and salt. I know most of you climb up Mount Perisher and carve your salt out of its veins while hanging off a rope suspended nearly 80 feet in the air. You know, the easy way. But I found that you can actually buy very good salt at any grocery store. Assuming you can find an entrance, that is. Now, the first step is to chill the water. You can use any freezer, cooler, or cold, unfeeling glare from someone you once loved. Don't forget to add a pinch of salt. You will need to wait at least 3 hours, so you can use this time to reach out to friends, get some work done, or just do anything that prevents you from facing the horrors of your own painful, incomprehensible existence. Remove the water before it is frozen. Next, take more water and set it to a boil. I found that stoves work fine for this, but failing that, you can try and find a literal 5-headed breathing dragon to heat it. This eliminates microscopic impurities. From the water, that is. You will always be filled with impurities, microscopic and large enough for the whole world to see. Now, for the tricky part. Take an ice cube tray and fill it with water, then float it on the salt water in the freezer. In just a few more hours, you'll have fresh ice, ready to be served.
That sounds wonderful.
We could have had something.
I know. All right, let's go to traffic. Traffic today on the 280 has been pretty difficult with the onslaught of new cockroaches found somewhere deep in your soul. You know exactly which cockroaches I'm talking about. You know exactly which ones. That being said, I-5 has been... Hello?
Hi, Cecil. It's Lauren. Hey, yeah, I'm trying to get in contact with Kevin. He's being like such a little... Oh, I almost lost it there. That's no proper way to smile now, is it? Anyway, if Kevin gets in contact with you, have him call me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
How did she get my number?
It's Carlos! Hello?
Hi there, friend. Oh, it's so good to hear from you again. It's been so long.
How did you get Carlos's phone?
Oh, Cecil. I've pictured this conversation over and over. My mind has been bent on Night Vale. I've pictured this crack in your voice transmitting over the airways from your lips to my ears. But enough about me.
What are you talking about, my voice cracking?
Oh.
No, where is Carlos?
You find the most interesting things in the desert. You meet the most interesting people in the desert. I'll have to cut this short. There's so much work left to do, and Well, you'll see who doesn't love a good surprise after all. Bye now, Cecil. Bye now.
Why did he have Carlos's phone? I mean, I know they're in the desert together, but how did he get his phone? Carlos? I'm sorry, listeners. I'm just worried. Carlos, is that really you? Carlos. Carlos!
Cecil? Cecil?
Carlos?
Cecil. Honey-voiced honey. I'm so glad to hear your voice. You wouldn't believe what happened today. You see, I was strolling along watching the people here continue to build. Did you know that they now have a roller coaster called the Screaming Oak? It's wonderful. So much, in fact, that people who started to ride it have yet to leave. Though that might be due to the fact that the roller coaster kind of doesn't have brakes. Whichever, they're having a blast. But back to my day. As I was watching the roller coaster, I reached into my pocket for my phone, and it was gone. There were no holes in my pockets, and I checked the rest of them. I immediately began to retrace my steps, but had no such luck. I asked Doug and Angela, but they hadn't seen it. I wanted to ask Kevin as well, though he seemed busy rushing back to his radio station, cackling. I wouldn't want to intrude after all. I don't know how or why. My memory is a bit fuzzy. I heard something like wheels, not like a car or a bicycle, but like a Segway. Who would even have a Segway here? Anyway, I heard a ton of static, and I think someone waved to me, or gave me a high five. It's strange. I don't even know how to describe it. Then, I opened my eyes, and there was my cell phone in my hand. I immediately called you, and here I am. I miss you, and I can't wait to see you again, Cecil. I miss seeing you. I miss your hand in mine. And I miss being home with you. I even miss Kolchak as much as he makes me sneeze. We'll be together soon, okay? Just a bit longer. I love you, Cecil, far more than words can say. Please, be careful, for both you and me. Good night.
I love you too, Carlos. Good night. Well, listeners, it's time that we get to our question and answer portion of the recording. But first, I take you to the weather. table, we have Lauren. A round of applause, please. Next to her is Steve. And then we have one of the hooded figures. Next to the hooded figure, we have Kill Your Double.
That's not very nice.
Yeah. Then we have Earl Harlan. And next. I guess I'm Cecil. So if you would just like to line up at the microphone and ask your question.
Hooded figure. What has your opinion been about the recent attacks of the faceless old woman and I think Hiram McDaniels? I'm not sure. I haven't seen him recently. I don't know of any Frank Chen attacking the mayor, but I suppose Hiram has been if he's been in town. Anyway, what has your opinion on the attacks on the mayor been?
Earl, how is your son? Well, he's doing very good. Now that I've finally learned his name and actually had a conversation with him, we're getting along so much better, really. Still need to figure out a lot of things about him, including where we live now. I guess I must own a house somewhere.
I'm concerned about these soul cockroaches. Has there been any word? Can I get mine back?
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you. You will have to check the local newspaper tomorrow.
Will do.
You know how those things are.
Cecil, has there been any official statement from the Glow Cloud about the cutbacks to the student lunch program? You know, the ones dictated by the radio waves being broadcast from Mount Monolith that recently appeared in town.
Yeah, I think that about covers it.
Cecil, any theories as to an older question we had about who may have purchased Lot 37?
There might be a new one around coming up. Just give it a few minutes.
Yes, hello, Carlos. I am interested in becoming a scientist. How does one become sciencey?
Have a love and passion for science. Science has to be part of your every fiber in being. Day, night, awake, unconscious, sleeping, whichever. Science. Always, always science.
Cecil and Carlos, after the whole condo incident, do you guys still have a residence together?
Well, I mean, ever since the outer worldly desert thing, it's been kind of difficult living together since, you know, he's in the outer worldly desert and I'm not. But I think we're thinking of something. Maybe.
Hello. With the recent cutbacks to the library budget, have librarians been seen wandering around fending for fresh meat, as it were?
thought I saw one trying to get into the school board meeting. I heard this sort of like outside the window, and then the glow cloud was all glowy, and we were just like, all hail. And so we kept hearing this, and finally one of the other parents was like, you know what, let's just close the blinds. And so we never figured out if it was a little bit, but I think we should be careful.
No, it's fine. It's all fine. Whatever the opposite of Steve is.
I have your best interest in mind too. You just never believed me.
Cecil, you recently told us about your visit to the desert otherworld when you visited Carlos. Are you thinking of maybe going back at some point for a vacation? And if so, how long would you stay?
Well, I have to get station management to approve a vacation again, but
I will totally watch Koshik if you go. I can totally watch him while you're gone.
I'm staying. I need to take care of my cat.
Now, don't be shy.
Oh, hello there. Hello, self.
So great to see you again.
So great to see you too.
Oh, it's wonderful. What can I do for you today?
Well, I was wondering if you could tell me where Lauren was. I couldn't find her today.
That is a good question. Wherever could Lauren be? Why, I haven't seen her in an age. Almost like she hasn't been looking for me. What a shame.
You should talk to her more, I think. Except she's really, annoying.
Well, that is Lauren.
Well, goodbye, self.
Goodbye, self. Take care.
Until next time.
Wasn't that fun?
Please, somebody else come up before there's another one of them.
Sound like it's a bad thing.
Hello, I am a small business owner in the community, and my question is for Lauren. I would like to know how I can increase productivity at my small business.
The first way to start with is controlling your workers. You need to make sure they have the right labor force for you. Once you've managed that with, I recommend knives or also some chains, great resources. You have to work on your salaries for them as low as possible because it will make them want to work even more. That is the best way to increase productivity I've found.
Excellent, thank you.
Good luck on your business. Great question.
hasn't really been helping me recently, and I haven't been able to go to work recently because of a problem with throat spiders. I keep waking up in the middle of the night, it really hurts, and I keep coughing up blood, and I don't really know what to do, and my next paycheck isn't coming in soon, so I don't know when I can update my vocal cords. Do you have any suggestions?
Well, the problem is you're assuming that the health board will help you. That's not what the health board is for, right? Right, Charles?
Sure. Well, you know, when I change my vocal cords, I use science.
Science isn't available where I live.
Find it. You must make science.
I can offer you these.
So, when you coughed at the spider, did it go like... or did it go...
No one cares, Steve!
Because I had the second kind once, and I found that a really, really nice cup of Lapsang Souchong tea.
This is like Thanksgiving all over again.
Lapsang Souchong tea. Totally.
Actually, it sounded kind of like the noise that Koshak makes when he purrs, so I don't really know what to do now.
Oh yeah, just hide yourself in a closet. You've gone too far.
Maybe go back to Hollow Fields. I gave her.
Yeah.
If there are fewer hooded figures in the dog park, are there more dogs? And if that's the case, how is it affecting the feral dog population?
My dog still didn't want to go in.
I think that's an A. Is that teeth?
Yay for dogs.
Hello there. This question is for Earl. Do you have any college dorm, like, friendly recipes or anything? Because I'm going to be living in college soon, and it's kind of...
Oh, very understandable. My son's going to college, maybe. How old was he? I might be thinking of kindergarten. Either way, there are plenty of great recipes that can be made with basically just ramen or water or an annoying roommate. I have a cookbook out. I can show you it right after. Thank you.
We are not annoying.
Come back! Come back!
Hello there. You have won a thing.
Good smiles to you.
Good smiles for okay.
Hello there.
Regarding this trip I heard of to a dog park, I don't know of anything like that in Night Vale, but if you did go on a trip to a dog park that may or may not contain a desert otherworld, and Carlos may or may not be trapped in this unknowable desert underworld, how did you get back, Cecil?
Listen, I don't deal with the science. I just accept it. He deals with the science because he's a scientist. I don't know if you knew that.
I am indeed a scientist.
Okay, then.
Hello there. Welcome to the panel. Please, find an empty seat and strap yourself in.
Hello. Well, I'm new to the Night Vale, so is there anything I should know?
Okay, well, first of all, you need to get your starter kit. It does include a poncho, which is nice. Ponchos are the height of fashion, can I just say? It also has... Okay. It also has your hatchet, a nice book.
What kind of book?
It's not really a book, books are illegal. We just call it a book because we want to seem intelligent.
Are you
And
into science? That makes you intelligent, right?
makes you intelligent, right, Carlos?
Very.
And it also has your death date strip in it. So yeah, just pick up your starter kit, City Hall. You'll be well good off.
Is that like a grocery store?
So if
You'll
you,
find it.
Okay.
a thing you could also do if you really want to get into the community as a new member is, so the PTA, we're having a bake sale really soon and can help support other younger people in Highvale. And I made scones, so you should come.
Don't eat the scones.
Were they made by you?
They're fresh.
Don't eat the scones.
You just don't like boysenberries. That's all it is.
Who likes boysenberries? No one.
Did you get a thing yet?
No.
I don't have scones with me, but you can have a thing.
You will never get a
Can I
thing
get a
from me.
thing?
You should totally get a thing. as part of
Will you eat the scones?
Yeah.
Okay, then you can get a thing from him.
Yes.
Thank you for the thing.
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Welcome to Night Vale. He said, I never get to say that. I never get the microphone. Somebody's gonna take it.
Am I even needed here?
I have a question. So I have this dog. Well, I think it's a dog. It keeps killing my ducklings. I keep finding their organs strewn around my yard, and it's getting really annoying stuffing in organs every morning. I mean, there's viscera everywhere. What should I do?
Listen, you're from Desert Bluffs. I ain't dealing with that.
It's also killing the chickens. There's chickens dead everywhere. I mean, I went through at least 40 chickens now.
I know exactly what you mean. And I love chickens with their cold, blank, black eyes.
And there's talons. I love talons.
I don't even know I had that same problem myself, I'm afraid.
They're just so attractive.
I wish I had a better answer for you. Come with a thing. I'm sorry, I'm gonna bribe you.
Wait, are you not denying that you think chickens are attractive?
She already made me uncomfortable before.
You say chickens are not attractive?
And those duck eyes.
About chickens. Who's next?
Hi, I'm back. Aren't the things you're giving out illegal? If I get one, I might keep my mouth shut.
That's pretty smart.
That is pretty clever. We didn't think about that. Congratulations, you have won a thing. Don't tell anyone. Hi.
I'm a resident of Desert Bluffs who's just wondering what all the hype of Night Vale's about.
I know.
It's the great restaurants.
We do like to eat in Desert Bluffs. We eat many things.
Attractive chickens.
We may not have things like ponchos or hatchets in our safety packet, but there are many wonderful things about Desert Bluffs, as I'm sure you know. But Night Vale, I have no idea. It's just, I mean, Desert Bluffs has ice cream stands, and they have petting stations. What do you think?
I think it's the lure of a chance to bring some productivity into a town that's severely lacking in everything. Do you have something you want to say, Steve?
I don't want to argue. Don't argue.
I just wanted to say that part of the hype is that we do raise our children to be free-thinking, individual people who believe in a menacing government agency and aren't brainwashed too much.
All eyes. Hi there. Thank you for the question. Please come again.
do? Do you have any advice for me?
Oh boy, do I know that feeling. One minute I'm just helping my scout mates, and the next I've got a spatula and a restaurant and a son. But trust me, you get used to it. Just try and go out and do whatever those strange overlords tell you to, and you'll fit in really well. And I may not be able to give much more advice, but I have this, if you'd like to come get it. Don't tell anyone.
Hello. Oh, hi. I was just wondering, how many interns has the Nightville radio station gone through?
Aww. You mean ever since I've been there, which is...
Cecil, since you go bowling with Owen and Josie, do her companions who are completely not angels ever participate, and how good are they at it?
Well, first of all, we kind of got the bowling team back up, which is really awesome. I love bowling. I love bowling, Carlos. But yeah, there's a lot more not angels. They're not angels. They're not. I know. Yeah, they're not angels. Don't look directly at the angels. What angels? They're not angels. But Marcus Vanstein, you know, the richest one, and John Peters, you know, the farmer, yeah. They joined, which was really awesome, and I actually just like did a match with them. Yeah, it was pretty fun. You want to join? I did.
Cecil, I do believe there's a bowling alley by the hotel I'm staying at. Would you like to go bowling with me?
No.
Kevin, would you like to go bowling with me?
No, he does not.
Oh, hello. This question is for Cecil. Where do you get your fabulous clothes?
I think we should do some fashion show here instead.
Oh, yeah? Work it.
Is that what you do in a fashion show?
I don't know if I can twirl in this.
Janice twirls in everything, but she's also a small girl. So.
Macy's.
Hi, Kevin. Can I call you Kev?
No.
Okay. How many hooded figures do you have in Desert Bluffs?
Hooded figures. Hooded figures aren't really oh, that was bad. It's not really a Desert Bluffs thing.
Well, I don't like Desert Bluffs anymore.
So Steve, since you and Cecil have a great relationship, how do I get along with my brother-in-law?
Well, I think just, be nice to him and try to hang out, try to really be emotionally supportive when he's upset and, try to not talk too long on the phone when he's waiting for a call from his whoever, and just, be there for him. And just, call sometimes and let him know you're thinking of him, or, send him something you baked, and just, just be his friend, or at least try.
If you say you hate him, I will give you a thing.
It's not really, it's emotionally exhausting to hate someone.
Sure.
Except for that guy.
Well, I don't think any of that will work, so...
I'm sorry, I couldn't help.
Okay, hello, hi. I'm an invisible business owner, and I've been looking to push some products, so I was wondering, are any of you in the market for wheat or wheat byproducts? They're delicious. My specialty is invisible pie.
Carlos, I'm scared! Kevin, I can't remember. Do we have that same man in Desert Bluffs?
I do love pie.
I do too. Contact us later.
Alrighty.
My question is for the hooded figure. Out of all of you, which one of you kills the most people a day?
I see what you did there. I see it.
Cecil, quick question. You said Marcus Vanston was on the bowling team. Wasn't he illegally forced out of the last Nightville mayoral election for becoming a certain race that I am not legally allowed to speak of? Angel!
Well, he kind of just goes with Josie. He's not an official member of the team, but Josie makes him, like, you know how Josie is.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, she can get anybody to bowl, and, he sometimes joins in a match. He's terrible. I beat him.
Well, next time you see Josie, can you please tell her to stop bad-mouthing my business? Fly sales have been way down because of her. By the way, a person who mentioned wheat and wheat byproducts, I am looking for new markets.
Hey, let's form a merge.
I don't even remember what that last question was.
I know.
Was someone just talking to you?
So,
It's all a blur.
Echo.
hello, hooded figure. Any word on the stolen babies? The ones that you openly steal from carriages and mother's arms? Really? Like, it's been a year since I last asked this question, and it feels like, no, nothing? Yeah, I think you should talk to whoever's managing your stolen baby business. Like, ask me, I'm a business consultant. I can help you out.
Hi, I'm just happen to be passing through Nightvale, but me and my brother find that we can't leave. Would you be able to point us the way out of Nightvale?
No. You say that like there is an exit.
Take who they come.
If Nightvale wants to get rid of you, it will.
I've always wanted to see that.
We're at the end of the school year. Does the PTA or other community organizations have plans for the community's children to prevent summer slide or other issues with forgetting all their valuable skills from school?
Well, the playground is going to be open all year. We just talked about that, and again, the glow cloud was like, and we were like, yeah, that's a really, really good idea. And especially since we just shined up the slides and made sure that the swings didn't get too far past the escape velocity of the atmosphere. I think really, they'll be retaining a lot. I suggested something also about, making the gravel extra shiny too, just to reflect all of their thoughts back into their brain, so they're reflected back rather than having to try to read them in the sky, because I think I'm the only one who can do that. I don't know why, but, then one of the other parents, she was just like, no, that's going to cost too much, so we're sticking with the swings, and I think we'll go from there.
I heard a rumor that Tamika Flynn might be starting a summer reading program. Is there any validity to that?
I hadn't heard that. But given that librarian...
I heard that, Steve.
I don't know, I was in a meeting the whole time, and given those librarians that were going out the window, I think we need her to do this. I do.
I would like Janice to join.
I would too.
Summer reading, yeah.
I feel like I need to take a shower.
Hi, I'm Captain Jack Harkness.
I'm sorry, I'm taken. I am not contact me later.
So I have a very specific question. I'm looking for a doctor. And not just any doctor. Do any of your doctors time travel?
Oh, specialist.
Are you a doctor? I know you're a scientist.
Well, I did pass one. I want to say maybe a month or years ago. I don't know, guy, kind of short, kind of tall, red fez, something twirly.
Long brown coat or leather jacket?
I think this one had a long brown coat.
Ooh, the sexy one.
As far as I know, he's the only doctor I've seen.
Well, okay, you'll free later.
Carlos is taken too. This is a PG-rated panel.
I'm sorry I asked.
Hi, the throat spider's cleared up. I just had to drink some broken glass. You said earlier in one of your broadcasts that the Nightvale Zoo, after it's been renovated, that slow-moving children with a body weight of more than 15% fat they get it free. I'd like to know, is it possible that in the future this same rule might apply to adults? Because I have a really obese neighbor, and he keeps having his dog poop on my lawn.
I don't know, I don't make the rules. Go ask Mayor. Yeah, she's doing great. I think I saved her again, I don't know.
You can get into free at the Desert Bluffs. What was it, a zoo? Yes, you should come to Desert Bluffs sometime. I think you'll really, really enjoy it.
No thank you, I'd rather keep my soul. Goodbye.
But it turned into cockroaches in this wandering guys.
That's a bad space, come on! Buy my wheat!
Who are you, Lillian, and how do you keep bringing me here?
Listen, intern, just deal with it.
Kevin, how exactly do you get to Desert Bluffs?
Well, first you go down to Highway, you kind of piss... Oh dear. Well, that was not the word I meant So what we're going to do is I'm going to give you a thing. You're going to pretend this never happened. Congratulations on winning the thing. Hi.
So, you guys seem like a great group of nice people, but being white-haired, we tend to die more. So I was wondering, when I hear people die more, what are you guys?
Just stay away from the radio station. You should be fine. Don't get an internship.
Do they play good songs though?
No.
I have purple hair and I'm fine, so...
Yeah, but I don't know, something
Carlos
about
has beautiful hair.
Something about, I know, it's so luscious. They don't,
But now I'm wondering if you're onto something, because all of us are here that I think we're alive. None
She's
of us have white hair.
Be quiet, Steve.
Just
Calm down.
maybe.
Okay.
Hey, yeah, I'm kind of in need of a haircut. And, Tolly is about 3 years late on his break. I think I saw him out in the sand wastes. Any update on that?
You know, I was about to give you a thing for your beautiful hair, but then you brought up Telly, so I'm not giving you a thing. Right, Carlos?
Actually, come up here. I'll give you a thing.
You betrayed me.
But I love you, Susan.
Okay. You want a thing.
Calm down, Cecil. His perfect hair did grow back.
Speaking of perfect hair, Carlos, do you have any scientific hair care tips?
Well, I just use Pantene Pro-V in all honesty.
So I had a chance to look back through my old Welcome to Night Vale welcome packet, and I looked at my debt slip, and instead of a date like it's supposed to have, standard regular for all citizens, it just says yes.
Earl, did you get that?
I have some very, very bad news for you. I think maybe it should wait until you have time to say goodbye.
With all this talk of the Welcome to Night Vale welcome packet, I was looking at my death slip and it said no.
Well, I'll tell you, my friend, you're going to be in for a wild ride. If nobody has any questions, Earl and I are just going to do interpretive dance and no one wants to see it.
I wasn't aware of this. I mean, I'll do it.
Oh, God.
I think they're advancing. First they have segways and now this.
In a continuation with the death slip thing, as a new business owner, I came in, did my paperwork, and I found out for my termination date, it said not available.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think, well, what's going on here? What you doing? You're an intern.
I'm sorry, I kicked the sound thing earlier, and that's why there's a lot of feedback. I'm sorry.
You're the broadcaster.
And,
Think it's that librarian.
Earl, I was wondering if you'd like to expand on your facial recognition, your product recognition, and if you would like to combine with my business of definitely not illegal wheat or wheat
If you are trying to suggest that my restaurant would use any wheat and wheat byproducts, you'll need to talk to me later.
Flies aren't selling.
You know what? We'll do fly sandwiches. Fly pies.
Do you want to see if the audience would be interested in fly sandwiches?
Let's take a poll. Let's take a poll.
And you complain about my scones, I'm just saying.
You can be on the team. We'll make scones. We have delicious wheat. You'll have delicious scones.
My scones have always been gluten-free, though.
For the record, Steve, I think it's just me that complains about this discussion.
Well, you complain loud enough for everyone sometimes.
Yeah? I don't deny anything.
Gluten-free scones under that.
Okay, so my death date was marked for today, and I thought I'd go out with some style. So, Carlos, have you ever thought about getting an undercut? Actually, I think that would be my next haircut if Cecil is okay with that.
No.
Then I'm afraid not.
I like your hair as is. It's beautiful. I love you.
I really thought Cecil was going to kill me for that one.
Well, you don't certainly win a thing.
I have another question for Earl. So in a continuation of my ongoing confusion, there's all this stuff in my fridge that I don't really know what to do with because apparently I didn't actually learn how to cook before I moved out. And now I do, but I don't know what to do with all of it.
Say no more, say no more. Every good cook knows how to cook with any type of ingredient. You know, well, aside from wheat. But things like ketchup, steak, shattered glass, all sorts of the usual things. And if you'd like, I can teach you how to use anything remaining in your fridge, or somebody else's fridge, or somebody else. Just find any type of ingredient and let me know.
Thank you. Hi, this is a question for Cecil. I am new to Nightville and desperately for a job, and was wondering if there's any process of getting an internship.
About those scones, when can we get together?
I told Janice that after the thing today, it would just be us, because she said, you were going to be gone all day to talk on the radio and not listen to the radio with me. But this weekend, we could totally bake.
I have a question, actually. SC, when did you get a nickname? Are you like homies with someone?
Are you saying I'm not allowed to have homies just because you're jealous that you have, like, basically Carlos? And Earl?
Thank you. Oh, man.
And the others keep dying.
I'm not paid enough.
I'm just saying, if we want to make scones, if anyone wants to make scones, my kitchen is pretty big and we can make scones.
I will provide products.
You're in a button-down shirt. Why would you have homies?
You're wearing a sequin fanny pack. Why would you have homies?
Carlos loves the secret fanny pack. Right? Sure.
Yeah, never mind about the scones.
Oh.
Talk after.
Because he doesn't have homies.